Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah if you don't know me already, and welcome to part 2 of my Reading the ACOTAR series for the first time vlogs. Earlier today, I started book 3, A Court of Winds and Ruin. I read books 1 and 2 of this series in part 1 of this little vlog style video diaries that I'm doing. I will link it below for you to watch if you want. If you haven't seen that video already, go watch it before you continue this video because we're halfway through the series at this point. I don't want you to just start tagging along with me while we're already midway through the series. I want you to go through this with me from the start. So go watch video 1 if you haven't already. But if you have watched part 1 already, first, thank you, I love you. And then second, welcome to part 2. If you watched part 1 of this little vlog series that I'm doing, you would know that book 2, the book right before this one in the series, ended on a pretty crazy cliffhanger. So this one picks up immediately after that cliffhanger. We are right back in the action of things. It did not slow down at all. We are jumping right into the plot, into the action, and I am loving it. I think the plot of this whole series so far is so fun, and I've just been having a grand old time reading it. I will say right away, we got a lot of romance in book 2, which I ate that crap up. But this one picks up a little bit more heavy on the plot than the romance. We're about 100 pages in, like I mentioned, and there's been very little to no romance in the first 100 pages of this book. So I'm hoping we get a little bit more romance, but at the same time, the plot is so good in this book that I'm enjoying every bit of it, even though there's little to no romance so far. So I will update you again as soon as either something crazy happens, which I have an inkling that something crazy might happen soon. I just feel like the plot is building and building and building, and at some point it's going to explode. At some point something crazy is going to happen. So I will either update you once I'm a little bit further into this book, or I will update you as soon as something crazy happens, and I'm so excited for either of those things to happen. I am falling in love with this series. I'm starting to understand why so many people love it so much, so hopefully I'll be able to update you again pretty soon. Okay guys, it's been at least a few days since I last updated you. I don't even really remember the last time I recorded, but I'm about halfway through this book. Here's the problem. I know I'm liking this book, but I don't remember where I'm at in this book. I'm halfway through, but I don't remember what's going on in the plot at all. Wait. I literally just got a flash image in my head of a scene that happened. I think I'm starting to remember what's going on. Okay, I don't know why, but the plot in this book is slowly coming back to me now. So I'm gonna sit back, I'm gonna spend a few hours reading this, and I'll update you again soon. I'm having a really hard time focusing on this right now, and I think it's because I took a few days break. I haven't read this in a few days, so I'm in the middle of a crazy fight scene, and I'm just what is happening? I'm just I'm just having such a hard time focusing on it, and I think it's because I'm confused, because if I'm confused on a story, my mind starts to tune out even as my eyes are scanning all the words. Maybe I need to try this, because this usually helps. Where's my phone? And when I put this on, first it's noise canceling, so that's usually just always a little helpful, but what is this dot on my face? I literally have a quiet, you can't see because of the shadow, quiet music for reading Spotify playlist that this is what I listen to. It's all just background music. I just need to get back into the story. As soon as I lock in, I'll be fine. It's just the initial locking in part. This is literally doing the trick. I'm already way more invested than I was literally 2 minutes ago, because It must be the music. My mind must be now like associating this kind of music to like, okay, it's reading time. I wonder if that's it, because I've been using these a lot recently. I used to be able to actually not listen to any kind of music. I needed it to be like silent to read, but recently I've been wearing these a lot more and listening to like instrumental, the playlist I was showing you, and I wonder if literally my mind is now making an association with this kind of music to like reading the story. Oh my gosh. What? This scene right here is crazy. Oh my gosh. I'm screaming. I'm screaming at these words. Oh, she just went there. She just went there. Sarah J. Maas just went there, and so did Feyre. I got a little too aggressive. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe the words I just read. I can't even look at it. God, this sentence was crazy. That was wild. The words that I'm reading right now are wild. Absolutely insane. I don't think I've ever read a scene as intense as the one in chapter 44. I don't even know how to describe it. That was a wild ride. That chapter alone brought this book up in my rating so much. This book now holds a very special part in my soul. After I read that chapter, after I read the words that these two men exchanged with each other and between each other and to each other and to Feyre, I don't think I ever need to read another book in my life. I just need to reread that chapter. This chapter gave me everything I never knew I needed. Ever. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. I finished A Court of Winds and Ruin last night, and it was good. It was very good. I was thinking of what to rate it all last night because it didn't give me like a 5-star feeling, but I still enjoyed it so much. I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. So Rise, oh my gosh, literally, I love him. I love him. He might be one of the best book boyfriends ever. Also, low-key, Cassian and Aziel, I don't know how you pronounce their names, but those two boys, I would die for them. I would literally die for them, and I do not say that lightly. I think they are some of the best characters in the entire book series. I think they're literally so fun. They're so funny. They're the kind of friends who will love and defend their friends until they die. Like, to the grave. Like, they will die on the hill of defending their friends, and I love that for them because it's just so, it feels like such a family. I thought this book was so fun. I loved the politics in it. I think it was all so entertaining and such high stakes. The plot in this book was extremely high stakes. I think I'm gonna start with the Starlight one, the blue one, whatever that is. I think I'm gonna start that either tonight or tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, but as soon as I do start it, I will update you so you can see and hear my thoughts. Guys, I'm only on chapter 2 of A Court of Frost and Starlight, and we get Rise POV. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I think we're gonna get his POV a lot in this book, which makes me so excited to read it. Way more excited than I was even before. We got a tiny sliver of his POV in A Court of Mist and Fury, I think, whatever the third book in the series is. And it was at the very end, there was like one tiny little chapter from his POV. It was literally like 1 page though, maybe 2 pages at max. Wait, guys, we also get Cassian's POV. I just hit chapter 3. Remember what I was saying in one of the other clips about how much I loved Cassian and would literally die for him? I just got to chapter 3 and it says chapter 3, Cassian. This was so unexpected and I loved it, so I'm so excited to get more of his POV. That makes me so excited to read this. Oh my gosh. Okay guys, tonight's the night. I am finishing this book, A Court of Frost and Starlight. I'm on page 197, so chapter 22.
Proud of you.
And she's over here doing some work. Wait, are they implying what I think they're gonna imply? Are they implying what I think they're implying right now? I knew it. I just finished A Court of Frost and Starlight and I loved this little novella. This was a lot shorter than the other books in the series. The main storyline in this book is that it just follows Feyre, Rise, and like our other main characters that we've met in the other previous books as they celebrate their first winter solstice together. Solstice? I think it's solstice. And when I say like their first, I don't mean their first ever. I mean their first as like a team or as like a joined court. From what I've gathered, the winter solstice is basically like their version of Christmas. It's basically like this huge celebration during winter full of laughter, friendship, gifts, giving each other gifts, and there's lots of food, so there's plenty of feasting throughout the winter solstice. And yeah, it just felt like their version of Christmas. I think that's the best way to describe it. So that was really sweet. This was definitely one of the most like wholesome and I guess heartwarming books I've probably actually ever read. But towards the end they revealed a new plotline that I'm assuming the next book, which is the final book in the series, kind of like picks up and plays off of, and I am so excited to see that plot played out because I've been thinking about that plot line ever since it was kind of like teased like 1 or 2 books ago. It was just like mentioned briefly and then kind of just like forgotten, and I did not forget it. I have been thinking about it ever since they mentioned it, and the main character Feyre kind of like talked about that plot a tiny bit and just talked about it in a way that made it sound like she was setting up a deeper plot. I'm gonna start the last book in the series soon, and I will take you along with me with my emotions as I read it. Okay guys, it is quite a bit later. It's actually the next week from when I finished A Court of Frost and Starlight. I'm on page 97, so I'm a little bit into this already, and so far I am loving it. I think the plot is so fun. One thing I didn't know about this book until I literally picked it up and started reading was that it's all about Nessa and Cassian? Yeah, Nessa and Cassian. Just like their whole story, their dynamic, their relationship with each other, and how all that works. It specifically focuses, so far at least, on Nesta and just her emotions and mental state after the war. She has been going through a lot of emotions, I guess you could say. She has been grieving a lot. She's dealing with a lot of anger towards other people, a lot of anger towards herself, just a lot of like pain and heartbreak and all those sad and negative emotions, and those are for sure affecting who she is and who she's becoming as a person, because when you dwell so heavily on like negative emotions, they can start affecting how you act, who you become, the way you treat others, the way you treat yourself, and she is dealing with a lot of those kinds of feelings. I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but she and Cassian have had like a little back and forth kind of thing going on, and you're not really sure what it's about or kind of where it's coming from, but regardless, they have this really special, unique kind of relationship with each other where they kind of despise each other in a lot of ways, but they also feel drawn to each other and bonded to each other in different ways, where Cassian feels really protective over Nesta and she's just like, I'm so angry at the world and I hate myself so much that she doesn't even want to let herself open up to Cassian in any way. So there's that whole relationship dynamic going on. It's really fun and refreshing to finally read kind of like a different plot, but something that still takes place in the same realm. The same characters that we know and love already, we're just hearing different POVs and following a different main relationship. It's really fun so far. I'm loving it. I'm eating it up. I can see myself getting through this pretty fast because of how much I'm enjoying it, and I will keep you updated as I continue to get further and further along in the story. I'm in my kitchen right now because my original plan was to actually edit a video, but then I couldn't find my cord that I plug my SD card in so I can download all of my raw footage onto my computer to edit. I think Andrew might have it and he's not home right now, so I'll have to wait till he gets home. So since I can't edit, I had a change of plans. I'm currently cooking dinner so that it's ready when Andrew's home, or I guess I'm prepping it because I have chicken cooking in the oven, and then I just chopped up a bunch of veggies. My goal is to make chicken pot pie tonight. I made a matcha for myself that I can drink while I'm cooking, but since the chicken is still cooking and I have to wait for that before I can shred it and then put the chicken pot pie all together, I figured I would come here and give you a little update on my reading progress through the last book in the ACOTAR series. I've definitely made a bit of progress since the last time I vlogged, which I can't really remember how many days ago it was, probably 3 or 4 days ago. I'm almost done the book and I am really enjoying it right now. So I'm just gonna tell you all of my thoughts on the story so far. This book quickly became a very spicy book. I'm pretty sure that last time I vlogged there was no spice. I want to say there was no spice yet, but there is a lot of spice in it. I would say after the first maybe 200 pages, I honestly don't know, I'm just kind of guessing, there is a lot of spice. And when I say a lot, I want to say that there's a very detailed spice scene probably every 3 to 4 chapters, which I don't enjoy that much. I personally don't really like to read spice books simply because I don't think it's good for my walk in faith, and I'm also married, so I don't really need to read about that kind of stuff going on in other people's lives. Even if they're made up characters, it's I don't need to read about it. No thank you. I don't want to say it's ruining the story for me because the story is still good and there's still a lot of really good aspects in the story, but I'm definitely a lot more disinterested in it because it sometimes can feel like the spice is becoming one of the main plot points in the characters' lives and just in the story in general. But now that I said one thing that is making me maybe a little bit more disappointed in the plot, I'm going to tell you one thing that I am loving in the plot, and that is Nesta's character arc. I think I told you before, but the whole point of this book is to follow Nesta and Cassian, which are two main characters from the previous books, but we never have gotten their POVs before. We're getting mainly Nesta's. I'm not sure if I've really told you too much about who Nesta is, but Nesta is basically Feyre's sister. Feyre is the main character throughout all the other books. Nesta has gone through it. She's gone through the ringer, for sure. Nesta really struggles with her anger towards people. She has become, throughout all of the other books, just a really angry and cold-hearted person, to put it honestly. In the first half of this book, she's a terrible person. Nesta is basically just living her worst life. Her family, who literally love her so much, they all pretty much come together and they're enough is enough. She needs to get her life together. So they basically give her an ultimatum to go back to the human realm and be around people who essentially hate her and never liked her in the first place, or she can stay in the Night Court, but she has to go through training with Cassian, who is basically her love interest in this book. All of this is in the hopes of giving her an order to life, giving her a routine, giving her things to do, things to distract her mind from the pain and agony that she's dealing with internally. As she begins her journey of training with Cassian, she starts to realize that not everybody is out to get her and betray her and hurt her. Her emotional walls start crumbling down for the first time pretty much ever. So all throughout the story, you just realize how much she's really not a bad person per se. She's just so hurt, and that has been a really heartbreaking theme throughout the whole book, but it's really shown up in the last like few chapters I've read. And I'm finally at the part in the story where she is starting to deal with those emotions and heal internally. Okay, I just rambled for literally so long. I'm gonna take the chicken out of the oven and keep making dinner, but I will update you again probably later tonight. I'm not sure, but it'll be soon. Okay guys, the chicken pot pie is finally in the oven after all of that time. I just feel like it took forever because I was prepping it. I had to cut up all the vegetables. I had to make the filling, and then stuff the pie, put it in the oven, set the oven, do all the dishes. I cleaned the counter, wiped down the table. I swept the floor. I just feel like I have had a really productive cleaning and cooking night so far. I know it's getting really late. It's like almost 9 o'clock, so we are going to be having a very late dinner tonight, but it's okay because Andrew's still gone. He's not even home yet. I'm hoping he comes home right around when the pot pie is done. It has about a half hour left, so fingers crossed he comes home right around that time. Anyways, I still have a few more things I have to do tonight. I have some laundry in our bedroom that I have to fold, but my feet hurt really bad because I have just been walking and standing all day between baking and cleaning, and then I worked all day, so my feet are actually like cramping. They're kind of just hurting a lot, and I need to relax for a little bit. I need to rest them because they hurt pretty bad. So I am cozied up on the couch for a little bit while the food bakes, and I have my book here. So I'm gonna try and just run through as much of this book as I can before either the oven beeps and the food's done or before Andrew gets home. Okay, I found the quote I was looking for. It's pretty much like a whole scene almost. It's like a description that sets the scene for Nesta, like just dealing with those emotions internally in her heart. Because it's like a pretty long, it's like almost 2 full pages, I am going to just read you like certain sentences off the pages, and I'm just gonna jump around a little bit just to make sure that it is like coherent for you as I read it. But this is just an example of Nesta's character arc. We're seeing her dealing with her pain and bitterness and anger towards others and herself in the scene. She had been born wrong, had been born with claws and fangs, and had never been able to keep from using them, never been able to quell the part of her that roared at betrayal, that could hate and love more violently than anyone ever understood. She didn't know how to fix it, how to make any of it right, how to stop being this way. She didn't remember a time when she hadn't been angry. Maybe before her mother had died, but even then her mother herself had been bitter, disdainful of their father, and her mother's disdain had only become her own. She couldn't quell that relentless, churning anger, couldn't stop herself from lashing out before she could be wounded. She was no better than a rabid dog. She hadn't even cared that she had made it down the house stairs at last. Did it count when it was driven by fury? Did she count? Was she worth being counted? It was a question that sent everything crumbling inside her. She made it to the stones before she fell to her knees, so hard the rock bit into her bones. Was she worth being counted? She knew the answer. She had always known the answer. Cassian whirled towards her, but Nesta didn't see him, not as she buried her face in her hands and wept. Oh my gosh. I'm getting like emotional literally just thinking about this scene again, because we have seen her go from such a cold-hearted, unrelenting, cruel woman to now just someone who you just see her brokenness. This is just a really powerful chapter and just a really, just a really emotional part in the story that we're going through. So I love it. Okay guys, I finished the book like a while ago actually. It's been like probably 2 weeks at least since I finished it, but I have been so incredibly busy with work and just like plans and everything. This is our new cat. We just got him recently. He's a kitten. He's 4 months and his name is Saja, so if you see him in the background, just ignore him. He really likes attention, so he might be all over me in a minute or two. This dude is so cute, I have to show you. I just grabbed my phone so I can check my Goodreads because I honestly can't even fully remember what I rated it. It was either 4 stars or 3.5 and I can't remember which one I ended up doing, so I'm just gonna go back and look. I ended up rating this book a 3.5 and I'm gonna explain why. Why though? 3.5 stars. Also, if you hear noise in the background, it's probably a plane flying over. We live pretty close to the Philadelphia airport, but we're on the Jersey side, right across the river and bridge. So the planes fly right above us all the time, all day, and it doesn't really bother us, but I can realize that when I'm filming, it can feel pretty loud in the background. I don't know what he's going for. I just reread through my review that I wrote on Goodreads for A Core of Silver Flames. The reason I gave it 3.5 stars instead of 4 or 4 plus is because there were certain things I really buddy there were a few things I really enjoyed about this book, I really liked, and then there were a few things that I didn't like so much or I just felt like made the story feel incomplete to me. I'm gonna start with the things I didn't like because I think it's always better to deliver bad news first and then the good news afterwards. So the things I didn't like about this book, I'm going to put right here at the timestamp to skip to if you don't want to hear a spoiler, because there's no way for me to explain this part without spoiling a pretty big plot point. So I'm gonna put it right here next to Saja. If you don't want to get spoiled, skip to this timestamp. Alright, I'm about to spoil it, so you better click off if you don't want to hear it. The thing I didn't like about this book, one major thing I didn't like, Feyre and Rise were pregnant throughout this whole book, and I cannot tell you how excited I was for this plot point. I was so excited for this twist. I had been waiting for it to kind of happen throughout all the other books and just seeing their relationship grow with each other, and I was literally so excited to see them navigate her pregnancy and how it was gonna work, and I just felt like that whole plot kind of just fell through. There was no really, oh my gosh, you're so sweet. It was supposed to be this huge crazy thing happening and they just let it kind of fall through the cracks, in my opinion, especially for the book being 700 plus pages. I think the best way to describe it is I felt like they put that whole plot on the back burner. That's hard to say because I know that this story wasn't about Feyre, it was about Nesta, and that's okay. But we have followed Feyre through all of the other books. This is a major thing going on in her life, and I just felt like it was just irrelevant to the story. And this kind of goes along with what I was just saying. I just felt like this was a massive book. This book was 780 pages, I think, maybe 750, something like that. It was thick. It was a very long book. I felt like there were a lot of random side plots that just were kind of irrelevant to the story, or I felt like didn't add to the story at all and could have easily been removed without changing the story at all. So I felt like it kind of just there were a few scenes where it just really dragged on, for me at least. The last reason I wasn't too much of a fan of this book or didn't like it as much as I had hoped I would was because there was a lot of smut in it. And when I say a lot of smut, I mean there's a lot of smut. There was probably a very detailed smut chapter every 3 or 4 chapters. That was too much for me. I can understand when a book has some smut in it, but not when the smut becomes the main plot of the book, and I felt like that was kind of what was happening with this because it was just very excessive. I just felt like there was a little bit too much. There are 3 main reasons that made me actually enjoy this book, and those 3 reasons were, first, the main theme of the book was redemption. I already talked a lot about this in a previous clip, so I'm not going to rant too much about it. That arc or theme or trope, whatever you want to call it, in my opinion, carried this book, because I think if that one theme wasn't in this book, it would have been a DNF or something from me, because I loved that plot. I already talked about it, so I'm not going to explain anymore. The second reason I really liked this book was because of Nesta and Cassian's relationship. The fact that Sarah J. Maas found a way to fit him and Nesta, who was the most bitter person ever, together, and then turn them into such a powerful, and the story ends up with them being a really good like couple and they're kind of like good people and everything. So that was a fun plot line to read about. There was just a little bit too much smut, but all the emotional depth to their characters and relationship I really enjoyed. And then the third reason I really liked this book was because there was a big element, and I guess I'll say like a theme of friendship throughout this book. So one big kind of like plot line that happens is that Nessa starts the book with 0 friends, and honestly 0 people that really like her or enjoy her company at all. But she ends the book with a little like friendship group that she makes with 2 other ladies. I love when an author can explain in words kind of the idea of choosing your family instead of just having family like through blood. And I think that Sarah J. Maas did that really well. Those are my overall thoughts on the book. I did enjoy this book. The overall series, pretty good. I think I would recommend it to some people, and I am very proud to be able to say I have officially read the entire ACOTAR series. That's pretty cool to me. So I'm going to end this vlog on that note, and I will see you guys again in the next one. Bye! Say bye, Saja.